Here we have our 2019 F150 with a 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6 engine, and this is going to be an actual owner's review. First of all, I'd like to thank Truck Central for having me back on the channel. My name is Sean. I run the YouTube channel DS Trucks. We have tons of towing videos with this truck, so if you haven't seen DS Trucks yet on YouTube, check me out. We've got 2.7 EcoBoost, 3.5 EcoBoost, and we've also got the 6.2 gas V8. New to our channel, we have a 2020 F450 as well that we have tons of videos on all those trucks out right now, so check out DS Trucks. Also, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, realtruck.com. More on them later on in the video. Now, this is going to be an actual owner's review. We're going to talk about the good as well as the bad, and we're also going to talk about the engine as well. And we're going to start off by talking about the engine because, in my opinion, the engine is the star of the show. So let's jump under the hood and take a look at the motor. There you have it, the star of the show, the 2.7 liter EcoBoost, 325 horsepower, 400 foot-pounds of torque, and it's nothing short of amazing that Ford was able to squeeze that much power out of such a small displacement, giving such good fuel economy. Real world, I've done tons of real world fuel economy tests with this engine, and it definitely achieves what the EPA has rated this engine for. And I know a lot of people will say they're either eco or boost and all that, and all that's true. If you're getting on this, you're not going to get that great of MPG. I mean, you're still going to get pretty good MPG for what it is. If you're going to floor this engine all day, you might get down to like 16 miles per gallon, but try that in your V8. You're going to be getting down to like, I don't know, with a V8 you're getting on it a lot, you're probably going to be down at like 8 miles per gallon. So it's still efficient no matter what. But if you baby this engine, you can get in excess of like 22, 23. I've gotten up to 26 miles per gallon hypermile in this truck in the city, using all the features that a lot of people hate, like start stop and things like that. Start stop really doesn't bother me too much, but you know, and also too, it has been refined a little bit. But thinking about this amount of power, this amount of torque, particularly this amount of torque being 400 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty good for your entry-level engine in the F150. Yeah, there's an engine underneath the 2.7. I think they have a 3.3 out, but it's a very low volume. Really, in my opinion, your 2.7 liter EcoBoost is your entry-level engine. They've made it affordable and they've made it sought after. They've really kind of worked a little magic with this engine because it's something that people want. You know, when you look at the 5.3 liter V8 in the Chevy, it's got less power and it's got less torque, and they're generally going to be slower. But for Ford to have this much power and torque, it's nothing short of amazing. And thinking back to my first truck was a 2004 GMC Sierra, and I thought it was so cool to have that truck, but it only had 300 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque, and I never really felt like it didn't have enough power. But here I am now with the V6 with 325 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque, so more power and more torque out of a smaller engine. And I remember back in the days when I had that GMC Sierra with that 300 horsepower, 300 foot-pounds of torque, I had to ride a bicycle to offset the cost of fuel, because I think fuel was at like $4 a gallon at the time, and I literally couldn't afford the gas in that truck. This truck is so much cheaper than my old Sierra that I had that the fuel alone is the truck payment. So nothing short of amazing. 2.7 liter EcoBoost, twin variable valve timing, dual overhead cam, water cooled exhaust manifolds, twin turbo, you name it, it's got it. One of the most power dense engines on the market. As far as pickup trucks, the most power dense engine in a half-ton pickup truck. If your 6.2 or whatever, you name it, your 5.0 made this much horsepower and torque per cubic inch, it would be insane. But anyway, enough about the engine. Let's take a look at the rest of the truck. It is a sport edition. Well, actually it's called special edition. It should be called sport edition in my opinion, because it says sport all over the place, but it's actually the special edition. It gives you red emblem there. It gives you red stripe on the red stitching on the seat, red stripe on the seat belt, and it gives you sport here inside of the truck. and it gives you sport here inside of the cluster. Now guys, I want to give you the good and the bad, and really it's kind of hard because there's not a whole lot of bad, but I'll nonetheless show you guys the bad as well as the good. Now the good, obviously, you know, it runs good, it's extremely smooth, it has very good fuel economy, it's never broken down on me really ever. I've never had a 2.7 break down on me, and I've been driving a 2.7 since 2014. This is my second one. 4x4 works good, has really good traction in 4x4, it hooks up good, it's just overall good. Tons of room in the back. This is actually our family truck. This is my wife's daily, and I use this truck as much as I can, but it's my wife's daily. Check it out, car seats in the back. Instead of us getting a big Expedition, which is incredibly expensive, and we don't have enough kids to really fill up an Expedition anyway, but 2 car seats here in the back, perfect. There's room for a third person if we have both kids to sit between that person in the front. Technically speaking, if we wanted to get a different trim, we could have got a seat here in the center, but we didn't need that. Small bed, not a real big 6.5 foot bed, but it does have a 5.5 foot bed. Incredibly useful from time to time. Just overall great truck. Now the bad. The only real bad we have to report is there is a check engine light on. Not causing any issues, but it's something that hasn't stopped the truck from running any different or caused the truck to run any different. It's something with the emissions. Haven't had a chance to take it in, but when we get around to it, we will take it in. Another con, if you've been following F150 news, then you know that there was a big fiasco recently where they're talking about rust underneath the truck. So let's crawl underneath the truck and see if there's any rust. To confirm or deny, let's see. So underneath the truck here, you can see the differential is rusty. Does that mean anything bad? No, doesn't affect the truck. Absolutely does not affect the truck, but it is there and it is real, and it is a legitimate complaint for a lot of people. They should really use better paint on the axle tubes, but I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna harp over something. I honestly didn't even know that that was going on until I saw some of those posts, and I kind of crawled underneath the truck, and I looked, and I did confirm that yes, they are not painted that well. But let's actually get inside the truck and go for a quick drive. Anyway, see you guys inside the truck. Here we are driving the 2.7 liter EcoBoost, and I am happy to report very minimum issues. As you've seen, the little bit of rust on the rear axle, not a big deal in my opinion. But I do want to report one other issue that I've had with the truck, and that is regarding the 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, you have to realize that these 10 speeds are very ambitious, they're very complicated, they have a ton of moving parts, and there has been a couple hard shifts, not really shifting through the gears, but going from like reverse to drive. Sometimes it just feels like a little bit of a hard shift between reverse and drive. Not a big deal, never really been an issue with the truck. My 2018 F150 3.5 EcoBoost that I had for 3 years had the 10 speed, very early 10 speed, and on that truck it had a few weird things happen, like once or twice ever in like 30,000 miles it like flared or slipped or something. I don't know what, but it wasn't like an issue ongoing. I don't know if it's part of the learning process with the 10 speed or what, but I will say there has been, oh, check it out guys, Edsel Ford's mansion, pretty historic building right there here in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Pretty cool stuff. I like to drive by here and just think about the history of Ford Motor Company. But very minor little things, that little quirks of the 10 speeds, never let me down or anything, or never been a persistent problem. But sometimes with this truck, like I said, a little bit of a hard shift. Sometimes with my, very rarely, but with my 2018, a little bit of a weird shift. Literally, I mean, once over the course of 30,000 miles. So I did want to bring that up. If you landed on this video for whatever reason, chances are you might be in the market for a F-150. And I just want to put as much information out there, good or bad. And like I said, nothing really bad. I know a lot of people are going to be scared of the 10 speeds. And the truth of the matter is, it's a lot of gears. It's an ambitious project. My 2020 450 that I just picked up had a wrench come on the dash, and we had to do a reprogram for the 10 speed, and that corrected the issues. So there is a little bit of a risk with going with the 10 speed. And if you are going to take your truck and drive so much that you're going to get out of warranty super quickly, and you're going to potentially have to do repairs, that is something to think about. It's not the end of the world or anything like that, but something to think about. Now, for that kind of customer, maybe it's better just to get an older 6-speed model with a little bit of miles on it or whatever. But there are people out there that's going to get a truck and put 50,000 miles on it in the first year and potentially get out of warranty. So if you're that guy, maybe you can get an aftermarket warranty on top of the factory warranty, because of that 10 speed can be expensive. Now, as far as the 2.7 liter, I think it's going to be a reliable engine. There's so many of these on the road. I think technicians know how to work on these, and they are complicated little motors, but I do feel like the part support is going to be there because they're so high volume, and the experience with the Ford dealers and the technicians and all that is going to be superb. But like I said, if you landed on this video, chances are you could be in the market for an F150. So why not bring up what engine is the best to have? I've had the 2.7 and the 3.5. I've never had a 5.0, but I've definitely have been in the market for a 5.0 before, and I do know a little bit about those. Now, if you're looking at a 5.0, ooh, there's a new F150 right there, 2021. Very nice. If you're in the market, though, for one of these engines, what would be the best engine? It depends on what you're looking for. I am guilty of coming out and saying, oh, 2.7 is the best engine. It's a very good engine, but it's not the best engine for everybody. If you want raw power and speed and performance, then honestly, the 3.5 EcoBoost is the best bet for you, in my opinion. I've had that engine, the second generation 3.5 EcoBoost with 10 speed, and that truck put into sport mode is phenomenal to drive. It's honestly, it's probably going to be the same speed as the 2.7. It's supposed to be a little quicker, but in order to get a 3.5 to be quicker than a 2.7, you'd have to match up the engines and the configurations to be very competitive. Typically, when you get a 3.5 EcoBoost, you're going to have a higher trim level, bigger wheels, more trim, more weight, and that's why I think a lot of times the 2.7s will beat out the 3.5s. But if you were to match up a 3.5 with the same trim against a 2.7, the 3.5 is going to be better. It's going to tow better. It's going to have more horsepower. You're talking 470 foot-pounds of torque, I think, with the second gen 3.5, and now I think they're on a third gen 3.5 that even has more torque. So yeah, when it comes to a person that just wants raw power and speed, 3.5, it's going to have about an mpg less than a 2.7, but it will satisfy the raw power and speed. The 2.7 is still quick, but to really make a 2.7 quicker than a 3.5 in a stock format, you've got to literally brake boost it and do all kinds of stuff to get it to launch. And honestly, the 3.5 really is just a quicker truck than the 2.7, and there's a lot more performance stuff that you can do to a 3.5, but the 2.7 is still good. It's still a great engine. I think it has a better design because it does have the one thing that the 3.5 doesn't have. The 2.7 has the water-cooled exhaust manifolds, which takes its power density up just a little more than the 3.5, but the 3.5 does have better internals. It does have better connecting rods. It makes more power, and it technically is the better engine. The 5.0, I would personally steer clear of a brand new 5.0. Now, an older 5.0, before a lot of the emission stuff kicked in, I would say pre-2017 5.0 I would think is a better option. It's a very good option. as far as longevity, because a lot of people get the 5.0 for longevity, but in recent years with the oil consumption issues that they had with the low drag piston rings and all that, I would personally steer clear of the 5.0. Now, if you're looking at an older truck, a 5.0 is definitely the way to go if you're interested in longevity. You don't have your turbos, you don't have all the extra moving parts. You still do have twin variable valve timing depending on what year you're getting. I think like a 18, which might still be a risky year for a 5.0, but a 17 I think would be okay. Anything newer than that, I wouldn't go 5.0 because you don't know the oil consumption history or what happened with that. And oil consumption is going to be an issue for a truck that gets into the high mileage. You know, oil consumption, once it starts affecting the pistons, once it starts affecting the exhaust valves and things like that, not good. It's going to start clogging stuff up and being an issue. It's going to be a lot more spark plug changes and things like that. I wouldn't want to have a truck that burns any oil. But that being said, a 5.0, even from 2011, which I think was the first year for the 5.0, you see a lot of those reaching 300,000 with minimum maintenance. You see a lot of them. And, you know, if I were to buy a work truck, a used work truck, a 5.0, I would be looking for a 5.0 because you're going to be looking at a engine that can really just, it puts down good power. I've been looking for work trucks and test drove, you know, older 5.0s. They have good power. They're not EcoBoost fast, but they're pretty quick, and they're just solid engines. So, you know, there's things to consider with that. But anyway, that's pretty much all I want to say for the drive. I'm gonna swing back home and finish out the video. See you guys once I get home. All right, so we are back from our drive, and I want to thank you guys for coming along with me with the 2.7 liter EcoBoost in our 2019 F150. And I also want to thank the sponsor of this video, Real Truck. Real Truck offers all kinds of truck mods, tunnel covers, side steps, performance mods, you name it. To find out what they have for your truck, make and model, make sure to check them out at the link below. Hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, if you want to follow along with DS Trucks, check us out on YouTube. We have a number of different trucks here. We've got our 2019 F250, and stay tuned because there's a chance we might be doing another video of an actual owner's review of our 2019 F250. Now, to the channel that is something new, I want to show you what we have. Our 2020 F450. Check it out, guys. We've got a 2020 F450. So if you like trucks, check out DS Trucks. 2019 or 2020 F450, 6.7 Power Stroke. What else can I say? It's a cool truck, guys. It is a cool truck. So it is a Lariat Ultimate package with LED lights and everything. But anyway, thank you for watching the video. See you in the next one. My name is Sean. This is Truck Central. Thank you, Real Truck, for sponsoring the video. See you in the next one. Over and out.